killed her are both gruesome and bizarre. We'll talk with friend and colleague of Daniel Horowitz, high-profile defense attorney Mark Garagos. Along with us, attorney Steve Mendelson, who's known Horowitz for 24 years. CNN's Ted Rowlands, he's spoken with two teens familiar with the suspect. Stacey Hunowitz, assistant Florida state attorney, and later psychotherapist Dr. Robbie Ludwig. All next on Larry King Live. A couple of notes before we start. As you know, attorney Robert Shapiro is due to be our guest tonight. He will be with us for the full hour tomorrow night. Robert Shapiro, his wife Linnell, and his son Grant. His other son Brent died from an overdose 11 days ago, and the Shapiros, the famed criminal defense attorney, his wife, and remaining son will all be with us tomorrow night for the full hour. And again, in this arrest story today, it is CNN's policy to not name any juvenile suspect. This suspect will not be named during the show. And remember, please, all suspects are innocent until proven guilty. Let's start with Ted Rowlands. You broke this story. What happened? Give us the update.
Well, tonight, Larry, a 16-year-old is in juvenile hall here in Martinez, California, accused of the murder of Pamela Vitale. Last night, investigators served two search warrants, one in Lafayette in the neighborhood of Daniel Horowitz and this young man, and one at a relative's house in nearby Walnut Creek. Following the serving of both those search warrants, they arrested this young man in Walnut Creek at a relative's home. Investigators believe that this young man killed Pamela Vitale using a piece of crown molding that presumably was found at the house. They say he bludgeoned her to death and went the extra step, gruesome step, of carving a crucifix-style cross into her back. They also believe that he then used the shower at the house in some capacity, whether he just ran the shower to clean up or actually got in it. There's no way to tell that, they say, but he used the shower, attempted some sort of cleanup, and left. It was 4 days of intense investigation. They finally got the break at some point late this week, served those search warrants, and they now have this young man in custody, and they believe that this young man acted alone, and they believe that they definitely have the killer of Pamela Vitale behind bars.
Do you know how they got the break, Ted?
We're told that it was through a tip line. They had had hundreds and hundreds of tips come in on this case. They had a tip line established, and we were told that one of those tips led them to at least start their investigation in that direction, and then things started to fall in place, obviously, and once those search warrants were served, they had enough evidence to go ahead and pull the trigger and make the arrest.
And did they say anything about motive?
That's the bizarre thing, the motive to murder. They believe that somehow Pamela Vitale caught this young man either on the property or near the property doing something. They believe that there was some sort of confrontation, according to investigators, and that led to the altercation. Whether she threatened to call police and he followed her into her home remains unclear. They don't know how he got into the house and what led him to take the extra step of having a confrontation with a 52-year-old woman in your neighborhood to bludgeoning her to death and then carving this gruesome cross in her back and trying to clean up. It is bizarre. A 16-year-old boy, they believe, is responsible for all of this.
Ted Rowlands, later we'll go to it. Ted Rowlands spoke with two of the suspects' friends, and we'll get to that in a while. Steve Mendelson has known Daniel Horowitz for 24 years, a longtime friend and colleague. You're an attorney too, Steve?
Yes, I am. We've shared offices. I've been 30 feet away from him for 24 years.
And you attended the memorial service for Pamela today, right?
I did. It was a lovely service.
Did Daniel say anything about this arrest?
Only most peripherally, in the sense that it's time to put it behind us.
Was he shocked by the age of the boy?
Yes, there had been no, both by the age and who he was, there had been no idea that it would be this person. And it's horrible that a 16-year-old would do this.
Did he say if he knew the boy?
I didn't ask him that, and he didn't say.
Do you know if he did?
I do not know that.
Okay. Do you know the boy?
I do not. Some of Dan's friends know the boy.
Mark Garagos, what do you make of this?
It's interesting, all the speculation that's been going on for the last 3 days as to who it might have been.
They were hanging another guy.
Yeah, there was another guy who was on a very short list of suspects.
How many people convicted him?
Exactly. He was convicted in absentia, and I don't want to prejudge, obviously, this young man. Anytime you hear about a 16-year-old who's accused of murder, it's an awful thing, and obviously you're not naming him, and it's always shocking when you think about somebody who's that age and that size. I mean, apparently this is a young man who's 5'5", 110 pounds, so he's not of a great stature, and apparently no indications whatsoever that this young man has got a prior history. So that somewhat comes out of nowhere, I suppose. Well, I think that there's a lot more to this story that we don't know, obviously, and I think that that'll come out when and if they do a fitness hearing. They've got two ways to go in this state. The DA can either file directly in adult court, or because after we passed a proposition here called Prop 21, they can also, if they want, they could do a fitness hearing in juvenile court and decide whether or not he should be tried in juvenile or adult court.
Stacey Hunowitz, I know that's not the case in Florida, but under the California circumstances, as a prosecutor, what would you do?
Well, I think this is a no-brainer, Larry. This would be a direct file as an adult. I think Mark's right. I think that there's a lot of things, or a lot of facts we don't know about. There's more to this than meets the eye. And I think any time you have a gruesome murder like this, no matter how old the person is, it's horrific, but especially when it's a 16-year-old boy. It's my understanding from some of the information that's been out today, some of the newspaper articles that have been out, there's been some speculation as to his behavior in school, this child. So I think that's why a lot of these things are going to come forward as the investigation goes on. There's no prior arrest, but there's some unusual behavior at school, and I guess we're going to all have to hear about it.
Steve Mendelson, what was the service like today?
It was not a religious service. Dan led the service. He spoke of Pamela and of his love for her, and then members of the family and close friends of Pamela spoke, and it was extremely moving. I've known Pamela ever since the very beginning, and yet I found out a lot of things about her, wonderful things that I hadn't heard before. And Dan asked me if it was okay, and I told Danny it was perfect. It couldn't have been better. And it was a wonderful experience.
Do you speculate in your own mind the bizarre circumstances, Steve, of the death?
Well, I have been told by Dan some of the things about the death, and I don't want to reveal those because of the prosecution that has to take place. But just the overall bizarreness of a 16-year-old kid apparently involved in some kind of credit card scam doing this to somebody is just overwhelming to me.
We'll have more on this strange story in a moment. And don't forget the Shapiro family tomorrow night. Bob Shapiro, the criminal defense attorney whose son died of an overdose just 11 days ago.
Hi, I'm John Scheer, CEO and founder of Video Professor. You know, after teaching people how to operate computers for over 17 years now, I'm amazed that there are still people that don't have computer skills. Skills like Windows, word processing, the internet, and email. If you're looking for that new job, or you're just balancing your budget, or maybe you're helping your kids with their homework, these aren't handy skills to have, these are essential. If you're having trouble operating your computer, I'm going to help you out with a free CD computer lesson of your choice from Video Professor. Let me show you how simple this is. You put the CD in your CD drive. The lesson plays like a video on your computer screen. Just follow the step-by-step instructions that guide you through learning the software. The lesson always stays on top of the program you're learning. You see what to do, and then just do it yourself. You can't make a mistake because you see the results right in front of you. You can pause or rewind the lesson to learn at your own pace. The CDs are like having your own personal tutor. It's always there for you, whenever and wherever it's convenient. You know the best part about this offer? This is free. Now it's important that you know why I'm making this offer, because I know that once you try my product, you'll come back to us for all your computer learning needs. If you're just getting started with computers, you owe it to yourself to try Video Professor. Or if you think you know a lot about a software program, I'll make you this challenge. You try my product, and if you don't learn new computer skills, I'll refund your shipping and processing. Now, this is a totally risk-free offer. What do you got to lose? Try my product.
Call Video Professor now for your free lesson. Choose from Windows, Word, Quicken, the Internet, and many more. Call now and this free gift will be yours. The Anytime Organizer is the calendar, diary, address book, and journal on your PC, so you'll never miss an appointment again. Remember, you must call now to get your free CD and the extra free gift.
To get your free computer learning CD, you must call now. Call 1-800-457-0294.
A lesson for parents about the power of your cable remote. Yes, you can surf the channels with it. But did you know? The cable remote can help control what your children watch. It's pretty easy. First hit Menu or Settings, then scroll through the on-screen options to set your password. Finally, block the programming by channel or rating. And talk to your children about why certain programs are not for them. Set your parental controls. It's easy. For more details on parental controls and tools, go to controlyourtv.org.
She fought really hard, and I think she almost won.
Why do you say that?
Because that person pushed her all the way back, which I saw that it happened. And then where she fell...
You could tell by the way the furniture was that
yeah.
something had been moved back.
Yeah, but where she was struck and where she fell was right by the front of the door, which tells me...
That she'd been back and
she pushed that person back, and that person used an object, which the police say is a blunt force object.
That clip you just saw was from Nancy Grace's exclusive interview the other night with Daniel Horowitz. Again, the Shapiro family will be with us tomorrow night. Ted Rowlands had the chance to talk to one of the friends or one of the classmates of this suspect. Let's listen to that, and then we'll ask Ted about it.
He just wore black trench coat, all black pants, black shirt, spiky like backpack and stuff like that, painted his fingernails black. He just definitely stood out in front of anybody in the school. Like when he walked by, everyone talked about him. He definitely did not blend in.
Ted Rowlands, were they saying that the suspect was kind of sort of a devil worshiper or something, or what?
Well, one of these Gothic kids that wears the full black, and I saw a yearbook photo from last year, and it is a bit startling when you see him when they open up the page. Is he had dark hair and then kind of a scary sort of look about him. That said, he's a 16-year-old kid. A lot of 16-year-old kids wear all kinds of crazy things, and most of them are just wonderful kids. But according to his friends, he was kind of a loner, but wore this garb to school every day. And then in the yearbook last year, he had a little inscription saying that you people can, basically paraphrasing, that the people can criticize what I wear all they want. We're never going to change, us types. What that has to do with this murder, who knows? But that's the type of kid that we're talking about. And that's what his friends have said about him, that he was just one of these Gothic kids.
Mark, what does it indicate, if anything, to you?
Nothing. I don't think you can make anything out of that. As Ted says, you can go into virtually any high school anywhere, and you're going to see a whole bunch of kids that dress like that. You can go into any city anywhere, and you can find kids who dress differently than other kids, and the kids that are going through adolescence have these problems all the time, whether it's their socialization, whether it's their maturation. I don't think you can ever read anything into that. I just think that there's more to this that we just don't know about. I don't think that it has anything to do with the way he dresses or that he paints his fingernails or anything else. There's something else going on here, and there's more to this story.
Stacey Honowitz, wouldn't someone at 16 who commits something like this have given some sort of prior indication?
Boy, Larry, that's a tough question. You have to look at all these other incidents that took place. Look at Columbine, look at all the school shootings. The same issues came out. People said, did they have priors? Did they have bad behavior? Were they loners? You never know. And I think people that saw him walking in the school, all in black with nail polish on, dark hair, the goth look, I'm sure everybody behind his back whispered, here, there's this scary guy. Oh, my God, he probably looks like a killer, but you just never know. I think you got to look at other incidents that have taken place in our country in the last couple of years. Those kids didn't have any bad acts, any prior history either.
Steve, what, to your knowledge, sketchy as it may be for all of us, is the credit card story?
Well, I had heard that I believe he and some friends wanted to get into a marijuana raising operation, got some credit cards stolen, and had stuff shipped to Dan and Pamela's address, And he went there expecting to pick it up somehow. I don't know, sounds crazy to me, but expecting to pick it up, and then wasn't there and got into this argument with Pam.
And he was going to pick up marijuana. You can order marijuana by mail?
Not yet, Larry, not yet. But
Right.
Equipment and supplies. Lights, pumps for water, electrical things, that kind of stuff.
Now, how did that come out, Ted?
Well, that hasn't come out. That is
how do we know
sort
this?
of extrapolation. Well, we don't know that. This was one of the extrapolations of some report. What I can tell you from a source that I have is that this kid was on the radar of law enforcement in this area because of a credit card scheme that he and a friend were involved in, supposedly. I have not been able to confirm that they had the marijuana growing stuff being sent to the Horowitz home, but I have confirmed that they was on their radar. They say they're two separate incidents, and they're not, at this point, connecting the two together. Whether the two had something to do with he and Pamela meeting up, they believe that for some reason they had a chance meeting and there wasn't anything more than that. One thing I can tell you about this young man, talking to his friends, is that he, and I don't know if this has anything to do with it either, but it is something, and we're all wondering what could lead a 16-year-old to do this. His sister, a few years ago, was killed in an auto accident. One of his friends said that after that, he saw a dramatic change in this young man, that that's when he started to see his personality change, and he dropped off from playing baseball at all and got into sort of a different type of lifestyle. Again, that's just a fact, and take what you will from it.
When we come back, we'll ask Mark and Steve what's it like to represent a juvenile accused of crime, and we'll ask Stacy what's it like to prosecute him. And Dr. Ludwig will join us. Don't go away.
Last year, when I was a junior, it seemed like he kind of lightened up a little bit with his apparel, but he was still definitely stood out, and by then everyone knew who he was. And yeah, like I didn't really hear about him really being like a troublemaker or anything like that, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. He just a really gothic kid, and everyone knew who he was just because of his apparel. Like when you heard the name, you just like, oh, that kid.
Are you at risk for osteoporosis? Keep listening for a special free offer from Actonel. My mother always said, don't slump, or you'll get your grandmother's hump. That hump wasn't a slump. It was tiny fractures caused by osteoporosis. Prescription Actonel once a week helps prevent postmenopausal osteoporosis to help you fight fracture. Want to know if you're at risk? Visit actonelquiz.com and take the free risk assessment quiz. And you'll receive a personalized report in the mail to share with your doctor.
You should not take Actonel if you have low blood calcium, severe kidney disease, or cannot sit or stand for 30 minutes. Follow dosing instructions carefully. Stop taking Actonel and tell your doctor if you experience difficult or painful swallowing, chest pain, or severe or continuing heartburn, as these may be signs of serious upper digestive problems.
Actonel can't unslump a hump, but it can help fight fractures. Visit actonelquiz.com or call 1-800-281-1313. Talk to your doctor to find out if Actonel is right for you and help fight fracture with Actonel.
You have a mission this Halloween. Take part in Trick or Treat for UNICEF and help collect money for kids worldwide who are truly in need. To get your orange box, call 1-800-4UNICEF or visit unicefusa.org. Let's do it.
No gossip.
The personal side of Brad Pitt.
No softball questions.
We really try to get to the heart of the story.
Showbiz Tonight. Headline Prime. Tomorrow, 7 and 11 Eastern.
Building the fastest car in its class doesn't mean leaving intelligence, beauty, and control behind. Introducing the all-new 306 horsepower IS from Lexus at Lexus Import.
A lesson for parents about the power of your cable remote. Yes, you can surf the channels with it. But did you know? The cable remote can help control what your children watch. It's pretty easy. First hit Menu or Settings, then scroll through the on-screen options to set your password. Finally, block the programming by channel or rating, and talk to your children about why certain programs are not for them. Set your parental controls. It's easy. For more details on parental controls and tools, go to controlyourtv.org.
When the weather is the news, trust CNN. It's essential.
Before we ask our lawyers and prosecutors about prosecuting and defending youth, let's bring in Dr. Robbie Ludwig, the famed psychotherapist, a friend of Daniel Horowitz. She's appeared on many TV discussion panels with him. What's your read on this case now, these developments, Robbie?
Yeah, well, again, we're trying to make sense out of, very little information. It is interesting to me that that he lost a sibling. I wonder if that's when he started wearing black. Does it have to do with unresolved grief and anger? Was he trying to show that he's anti-society or separate himself or show and indicate in the only way that he knew how that he was a kid in trouble? You have to remember that adolescents don't have the same words. They can't put their feelings into words the way adults do, so they very often do it symbolically. Were these symbols missed? Because it does sound like he was a troubled child. I believe he got a GED, so something happened where he wasn't able to stay in high school. This was a kid with a lot of problems that escalated to the worst possible scenario.
What's it like to defend a youngster, Mark? You've defended someone charged with murder, right?
I've got one that I currently represent, one young man that I currently represent who's charged with murder. I've gone to trial, actually, with 4 different young men who've been charged with murder who were juveniles at the time.
What do you face when they do?
Well, it's a completely different situation when you deal with a young boy who's charged with murder, because it's always been my experience that from 13 to 17 at least, young men do not have the impulse control. They don't have the same kinds of abilities to regulate the way that they act that they would once they get through that age. But having said that, I'm not here to convict this young man who's been charged. Obviously, there's a presumption, and I find that to be tough. I mean, one of the kids that I've represented is a kid who now we were able to get him probation on the case. He was charged with murder, and he's just completed his probation and has been an assistant running around for me and working for me for the last 3 years. So there's always more to the story, I find, when it involves a juvenile.
Stacy, what's it like? Have you prosecuted juveniles?
Yes, I prosecuted juveniles for sexual battery, really horrific rape cases. A student who raped a teacher in the high school when everybody left, shut the door, planned it all out, told people that he planned it out, and really, when they walk into the courtroom and the charges are so serious and you see what went into this crime, there really is no difference for a prosecutor, except for the fact that there are some circumstances where there can be some mitigators because of the youth. But in serious cases like a rape case, or when he tied this woman up and put her in a closet and did all the things that an adult would have done, then he wasn't treated any differently in the courtroom.
Steve, has Daniel represented youth?
Yes, he has. Yes, he has.
Have you?
Yes, I do civil law, don't do criminal law, but in my experience in civil law, sometimes youth are very interesting because they will tell the truth in an almost naive way. And it remains to be seen what the suspect will do here.
Are they harder to defend, do you think, Steve?
I really couldn't comment on that. I don't think.
Are they harder, Mark?
I don't think so. I actually think it's more challenging, and it's one of the reasons I take some of these cases is because it's more rewarding in a lot of ways. I mean, when it's bad enough to have somebody who's charged with a heinous crime, generally these are kids who I think have a redeeming quality to them. And that can still be salvaged, and one of the kids who works for me is I think living proof of that. And so I think that ultimately at the end of the day, if you're doing criminal defense work, you want to believe in redemption and you want to believe in second chances. And so
harder to treat, Robbie?
Got that.
Sometimes, although if you get children early enough, then it can be tremendously rewarding because they can channel some of their aggression into a productive way if they're able to find a purpose, if you work with family members on how they can best help the children. I mean, very often there are messages going on in the family if there's a lot of violence going on that impact a child and how they respond to other people in the world around them.
Isn't it mind-boggling for you, Stacy, when you do have to prosecute a youth, though?
Well, I think it's mind-boggling for anybody to have to see a youngster standing in a courtroom facing charges where he could possibly be facing life in prison. And sometimes in prosecuting these cases, it's interesting that crime is so horrific you can't believe, well, you can believe it when you hear it. Yet, when it comes to trial, the one thing that some defense attorneys try to do is make this individual look very childlike in the courtroom so that a jury might look at it and say, how could this be possible? How could this youngster have committed this crime? So it is a very interesting dichotomy when you go in the courtroom and the person that you're prosecuting is a juvenile.
True, Mark?
Yeah, but the problem is that you also have the opposite. You've got prosecutors who tend to pile on. And, you know, with the case, the last one that I actually went to trial on was in November of '03, and they had a, next to my client, who was 16, I think, at the time of the alleged murder, and he was never convicted of that. It ended up by a plea after a hung jury at a manslaughter. There was a 14-year-old girl who weighed about 80 pounds that they were prosecuting as an accomplice. And you looked at her and you said, what the heck are you doing prosecuting this girl? We're facing a special circumstance life without sentence when she was 14 at the time, and her crime was to just be driving the other two gentlemen who were there.
What can a convicted 16-year-old of murder get in California?
Life without parole. If they allege the right type of special circumstances, they can get life.
Can't get death, though.
Cannot.
We'll take a break, be back, get you an update on Wilma and your phone calls. We'll reintroduce the panel, too. Don't go away.
Every day, and that no matter how hard our day was or what went on, there was always love in her eyes and face. And I'm not just saying phony thing. I mean, it was just love. If you have a picture of her, every picture that you ever have of her has love. And I came home every day to that, every single day.
They say time is money, and we say you're wasting both if you don't rent from National Car Rental. When you join National's Emerald Club, you get to bypass the counter, go straight to the lot, and choose your own car. And the more you rent, the faster you earn upgrades. We've also streamlined the return process, so you just drop off your car and go. Now with our 1-2 free promotion, with 2 qualifying rentals, you get 1 day free. Go to nationalcar.com to register. National Car Rental, faster than the speed of life.
Like a human fingerprint, each whale's fluke is unique. At Pacific Life, we know that no two individuals have the same financial goals. For over 135 years, we've used our experience to help millions of Americans reach their goals. Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed.
Save up to 80% by buying Factory Direct. 1-carat solitaires $5.99, marquee solitaires $3.99. Buy Factory Direct and save the Jewelry Exchange with superstores in most major cities, or go online at jewelryexchange.com.
What do you know about computers?
My daughter definitely knows how to use a computer better than I do half the time, and she's 3 1/2.
Hi, I'm John Scherer, CEO and founder of Video Professor. You know, I've been hearing comments like that for over 14 years now. Listen to this.
I did the Excel, and it was a lot of fun. I had a real good time. I learned a lot.
The difference? Just an hour with one of my CDs, and they're easy to use. The CD plays like a video on your computer screen. Just follow the step-by-step instruction. If you call now, I'll send you one free. You just pay a small shipping and handling. Well, the reason I'll do this is because I know that once you try my product, you'll come back to us for all your computer learning needs. You know, if you can't learn, I'll even refund your shipping and handling. So, learn a new skill in less than an hour. Try my product.
I think that's the most fun I've had, learning something about the computer.
To get your free computer learning CD, you must call now. Call 1-800-454-9709.
2 journalists, 2 hours, 2 ways to see the story.
Who's getting rich while you're filling up your tank?
Every night at 10.
It's a hard thing to close your eyes to.
Newsnight, Aaron Brown and Anderson Cooper. CNN tomorrow night, 10 Eastern.
Let's reintroduce our panel here in Los Angeles. Mark Garagos, defense attorney, friend and colleague of Daniel Horowitz. In San Francisco, Steve Mendelson, who's known Daniel for 24 years, longtime friend and colleague. He attended the memorial service for Pamela today. In Martinez, California, Ted Rowlands, who broke the story of the arrest of the suspect. And in Miami, Stacey Honowitz, the assistant Florida state attorney. And in New York is Dr. Robbie Ludwig, the psychotherapist. And let's go to some calls. Saratoga, California. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for taking the call. My question is for your panel. You talk about redeeming qualities and second chances for the children or the perpetrators, which is great. How do you prevent such a thing from happening? If your child, your niece or nephew is only wearing black, is painting their nails black, and seems to be reclusive and exhibiting odd behavior. How do you prevent the crime from happening?
Dr. Ludwig.
Well, the best thing parents can do is have close communication with their children so that it isn't event-driven, just when you notice something's wrong, but that you have an ongoing relationship and create an environment where your child feels that they can talk to you. Of course, it's more complicated when you have an adolescent, but if you feel as a parent or if a parent feels overwhelmed, then it's certainly okay to include professionals and to talk to teachers and people in the school to see what you can do to help your child.
Steve, you're a friend of Daniel. I imagine he's represented youth. We've said he's had.
Yes.
I imagine at times he's argued to the court for leniency in
Yes.
cases where conviction. What do you think he might say here?
Well, in this case, it would be very hard for him to argue leniency, but if it was like this case, he would argue leniency. He would argue second chance. He would argue that you should understand the background that led the boy to this position and the hopes for rehabilitation.
Now, do you think he might, Mark, take that tact, assuming...
No, but I think that he's going to be more willing and open to arguments that most people would kind of reject in his position
because of his past.
Because of his past. I mean, it's anybody who's in the criminal justice system, who sees what happens, who deals with these kids and understands you just can't classify these people who are in the system, whether it's an adult or a child. It's rare that somebody is pure evil. Most people have a story to tell and have some redeeming qualities.
Stacy, would you agree if you had this boy and had a conviction, how you would deal with Mr. Horowitz?
Well, I got to tell you something. I respect Mark's opinions all the time, but I have to disagree with him on this. I
expected that, though, Stacey.
I
really did.
It's
most
interesting.
prosecutors, you can't do it because you've got to demonize the people in order to prosecute them. Otherwise, how do you prosecute these 80 or 100-pound people?
No. I'm not even talking about. Because munchkins can commit crimes. Believe it or not.
I understand that, but munchkins aren't fully developed and they're not adults. And yes, some munchkins can be evil, but at the same time, warehousing somebody for 60 years doesn't strike me normally to be
I wasn't even, I tell you something, I wasn't even alluding to the fact that I have, that's my role, that I have to put everyone behind bars for life, Sometimes it's necessary, sometimes there are mitigating factors. What I was talking about was with regard to Daniel. I mean, I don't know him that well. I've certainly been on a bunch of panels with him, but I don't know how lenient he's going to be. I think it might be different just because he's defended these guys in the past. It's so close to home. It's his spouse. I don't know if it hits that close how he's going to react. I wouldn't be so sure to say that he might be one that would accept leniency for something like this. That's what I was disagreeing with you about.
Steve, what would you guess?
I would think, unless a lot of time passes and changes, he's not feeling in the mood for leniency.
Well, I would agree with that right now. Nobody would be.
Bay City, Texas. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I have been listening to this case since it happened, and I have been wondering and never could find an answer or never heard it. Normally, when there is a death like that, they want to give the husband a lie detector test, and then also the guy that lived on the property, the one that Mr. Horowitz supposedly helped, did they give him a lie detector test?
Stacy, is that common?
Yeah, well, I mean, you heard Dana, who was giving many interviews, and he said, listen, if the police come to me, I'm willing to cooperate. I'll take a lie detector test. In this case, they had enough leads, they had these tips, that they didn't need him to take a lie detector test. They didn't rule him out right away, but he would have cooperated, and they had these tips leading them to this person. They got the search warrants. They went into the homes. They obviously found wounds. This guy's body was so telling and so revealing because evidently he had wounds all over his body, scratches on his leg, scratches on his arm, and that was probably one of the reasons why the arrest was made, based on other evidence, too. But there was cooperation on behalf of Dan Horowitz. I don't know about the other guy that was on the property.
We'll take a break, and reminding you that tomorrow night, Bob Shapiro, who is due to be our guest tonight, but because of this breaking story, will be with us tomorrow night, the famed criminal defense attorney whose son, Brent, died of an overdose 11 days ago. It's the most tragic funeral I've ever attended. Bob will be on to discuss about being the father and having a kid who had a problem, and how he might be able to help other parents. Linnell, the mother, will be here, and so will the younger brother, Grant. That's tomorrow night. Back with more calls right after this.
Hey, I'll get this. Besides, I get airline miles. With your business card? Huh.
What is your credit card doing for your small business?
You earn miles on everything you buy? Yeah, from supplies to travel expenses.
The Citi Platinum Select Advantage Business Card. Call now and you could get 1 mile for every dollar you spend. Plus now, with 15,000 bonus miles, you could be more than halfway to an award ticket.
I use my miles for car rentals, hotels, on over 25 top airlines, even a well-earned vacation.
Plus, get benefits like account summaries, business discounts, online fraud protection, and more. Call to request the Citi Advantage Business Card. And now, get 15,000 bonus miles. And soon, your miles could take you almost anywhere.
Well, Paris is great. And flying free? Makes it even better. Smart business decision.
The Citi Advantage Business Card. Call now to request your card and get 15,000 bonus miles.
Brad, you still need to choose a Medicare drug plan.
Oh, the big fight's about to start.
Well, you don't want a big fight to start in here, do you? Besides, you could be saving money.
Wait just a minute. How much?
Says here Pacificare could save you hundreds, even thousands of dollars.
Thousands?
One thing the good old days didn't have is Medicare drug coverage. Now, if you're Medicare eligible, Prescription Solutions from Pacificare makes the new drug coverage even better, offering a variety of plans starting under $23 a month in many states, including a plan that eliminates the $2,850 Medicare coverage gap. Call us anytime, 24 hours a day, to get our free prescription drug plan information kit. In addition to our Medicare drug plans, Pacificare also offers dental and vision programs starting at just $5 a month. Call now to learn how to get coverage starting January 1st.
If Fred could have done it, he would have.
A, B, C, D, P, C, P, E, or X, and T, H, C, special K, and L, S, D, J's, and H, and G, H, B. Now I know my drug, you see. Next time, won't you sing with me?
Do you know what your kids know about drugs? Need help? Get help. Visit our website at drugfree.org.
We're back. Newport, Washington. Hello. Hello. Newport, are you there? Newport?
Yes. Hi, Larry.
Please, speak up. Go ahead.
Yes. I was wondering if they thought the possibility that maybe the boy was lying in wait and saw Dan leave and came in and confronted her, and she was trying to get away from him rather than opening the door for him. That's what all the reports say, is that she opened the door. But I was just wondering if
Well, how do we know anything, really, Ted? What have the police said?
Well, I could tell you a source within the police department, someone from law enforcement that's familiar with the investigations, told me that he believes that there was a chance confrontation between the two of them, whether that was outside the home, if she was chasing him off the property or yelling at him, and then he followed her in like this woman is suggesting, or if he got to the door and she opened it. But I don't know. I don't know, quite frankly, if they know exactly how he got into the house, because it didn't appear to be a forced entry situation. Whether he was chasing her back or whether she opened the door, I don't think that they know that at this point. But it's certainly a possibility what she suggested.
This came, Stacy, on a tip. Is that the way a lot of these crimes are solved?
Well, I don't know what the percentage is. I think they got very lucky in this case. I mean, they had some people that they were looking at, but I think a tip coming in on this, when they kept saying it was a wide-open investigation, is very lucky. Occasionally it does happen, but I couldn't tell you what the percentage is where we can crack a case based on a tip.
Round Lake, Illinois, hello.
Yes, I was wondering if alcohol or drugs played a role in this murder.
Do we know, Steve?
Not that I know of, no.
Does anyone know? Nope, no way of knowing at this point. Campbell, wait a minute, do you know, Ted?
I don't know if this young man was under the influence of alcohol or drugs at the time of the incident. The only possible drug activity would be this story that there was some sort of a marijuana growing thing going on, but I don't think that they know if this kid was under the influence of anything.
Campbell, Texas, hello.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, hello, Larry. I was just wondering if the perpetrator may have gone through a doggy door. It looks like there was a doggy door in an entrance door.
Well, there's just no way of knowing. This is so speculative now. This is one of the problems, Mark,
with discussing these cases, because we're talking
with
about
our shows,
right,
because
exactly.
we don't know.
We don't know. We don't have access to the police reports. We also start assuming that this kid is the kid who did it. We start psychoanalyzing him. We don't know that. So that makes that a real problem, I think. Until I can tell you one thing, though. If there's an arrest and if there's a 16-year-old boy involved, there's a lot more to this story than we know right now. Because it just doesn't, so far what we've been told doesn't make a whole lot of sense. There's some other connection. The idea of a chance encounter, I think, leading to this kind of what's reported to be a brutal slaying, I think that's rare. I think it's a lot more rare than you would imagine.
Do you agree, Steve?
Yes, I do.
There's a lot more we have to learn. Would you agree, Stacy?
I think there's a lot more that we have to learn. I wouldn't hang my hat on saying it was such a chance encounter. There was some information saying that the mailboxes down where Dan lived and a couple of the neighbors, that there had been some allegations made by the neighbors that their mail had been stolen, and that's what was leading them to believe that he was involved in this credit card scam. Maybe he thought that, I mean, I'm not going to speculate, but, you know, this chance meeting, I wouldn't hang my hat on that it was just a chance meeting.
We'll take a break and we'll be right back with more. Don't go away.
Although we have a suspect in custody, the investigation is still going on. Much more work still needs to be done. As I speak right now, we are still interviewing people. Our crime lab is hard at work. We're analyzing evidence and waiting for test results to come back.
Lunesta. People everywhere are discovering it. What are you waiting for? Talk to your doctor to see if Lunesta could make a difference for you.
CNN Tomorrow. Exclusive. Famed attorney Robert Shapiro and his wife Linnell. Their first interview on their son's tragic drug overdose death at 24. Larry King. CNN Tomorrow, 9 East.
Escalade, EXT, and the larger ESV. Seeing is believing. Cadillac, breakthrough. Visit your Northwest Cadillac dealer for this attractive offer.
Bob Lamfer's Beaverton Honda is still the only dealership in the state to take the guesswork completely out of buying a pre-owned vehicle. We have a 6-month, 6,000-mile warranty and a 7-day right of exchange on all our vehicles and great values like this 97 Chevy Tahoe 4-wheel drive LT leather, only $89.77. Or this 4-wheel drive Durango, it's a 98, it's an SLT, it's only $89.77. The October pre-owned sale is on at Beaverton Honda Used Cars. Come see us.
What if everyone had the same extraordinary service as Northwest Community Credit Union? Northwest Community Credit Union, where you're more than welcome, and where the rates are as extraordinary as the service.
Comcast and TV Guide Spot have something big about movies, the Big Movie Guide. There you can preview new on-demand movies when you want. And this month, you can find out how you can get the chance to go to Hollywood and make your own movie. Go to On Demand and choose TV Entertainment. There, find TV Guide Spot. Select Watch This and check out Best Picks for details on how to enter the Make Your Own Movie sweepstakes.
Weather is the news. Trust CNN. It's essential.
Steve Mendelson, before we take the next call, do we know what's going to happen with the house? Is he going to live in it, sell it, what?
His initial reaction and what he's said a few times since then is that he's not going to live there. It's too bound up with his love for Pamela and his dreams, and at least right now that's his feeling. It's possible that he would change his mind, but I think that's where he's going to be.
Will they finish it?
Yes, they will finish it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Boca Raton, Florida. Hello.
Hi, Larry King. I think you're absolutely amazing. A question is, where were the parents of this 16-year-old boy, and why was he picked up over his relatives?
Is that where he was picked up? Is that where he was picked up, Ted?
Yeah, he was picked up at a relative's house in an adjacent city here. Walnut Creek is where he was picked up. It's right next to Lafayette, where he lived, apparently, and where Daniel Horowitz's estate was. What he was doing over there and that relationship, I don't have any answers to that.
Has the press, any of the press, rushed to the parents?
People went to the house in Lafayette. Yeah, people, the press went there right away. There's no comment, as you might imagine, from the distraught relatives. If you think about this family, what they've been through, they lost a girl 2 years ago in a traffic accident, which got some publicity here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and now this, where their son is accused of such a horrific crime. You can only imagine what they're going through.
Dr. Ludwig, that family will need counseling, will they not?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm sure they're feeling tremendously guilty. I'm sure they're placing the blame on themselves for missing the signs. And we all want to speculate about what happened because it's very difficult to live with something that doesn't make any sense. So there's a need for everybody to answer these questions to the story, which doesn't make sense in a logical way at all.
Yeah. Port Richey, Florida. Hello.
Yeah, hi, good evening, Larry.
Hi.
My question is to Steve. My condolences to the Horowitz family. Can I ask Steve, was there any security on the property or in the house?
Well, there's various forms of security. First of all, they had German Shepherd dogs, and they do have, it's just very remote. The doors generally were not locked is part of the problem. And both Dan and Pamela knew how to use guns and had guns, partially because they perceived a small need for them and partially because they believed in that.
Well, Mark, present company accepted, what kind of attorney would you look for in this? Veteran San Francisco lawyer? Someone who didn't know Mr. Horowitz?
Well, probably my guess is that they're going to find somebody who knows, it may, for all intents and purposes, it may be the public defender who may get assigned to this case. The public defender may declare a conflict for a variety of reasons. If you're the parents, you know, I don't know that they are feeling so much guilt. I tend to see that most parents in this situation, the immediate reaction is denial.
He didn't do it.
Yeah, that he didn't do it. I don't find, I mean, generally when the parents come into my office with a juvenile, it's, you know, it's my son, and he couldn't have done this, he's a good boy, you know, just because he was a little different doesn't mean that he did it. And I don't know that they're at a point where they're going to embrace this in terms of being guilty.
Stacey, is the prosecution involved now in this process?
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as the investigation began, I'm assuming that they were in touch with a district attorney out there who was helping them get the search warrants. I mean, that's imperative that they got some of these warrants. They have forensic evidence that had to go to the lab. So once the event took place, the murder took place, and police got involved and all the investigators got involved, the first thing they did was probably call up the district attorney to help guide them as to where to go and to help them get these warrants. So they're very much involved in this case.
Mount Hope, West Virginia. Hello.
Yes, hello, Larry. It's an honor to talk to you.
Thank you.
My question is about DNA evidence. Do you know if they have cleaned out from under Pamela's fingernails, and if they did, how long will it take to get the answers back to see if it is a match?
They do immediately at the time of the autopsy here in California. Almost all coroners will do fingernail scrapings of some kind. They also will look for any kind of, and they'll preserve those samples. They'll take those samples, send it over for forensic testing. We talked the other night. It was my opinion that that's what they were waiting for. And then when you combine that, we also said the other night that they're looking for a suspect who would have had scratches or blood type evidence that would have linked the two of them. And it sounds like, yeah, because she fought back and it was a struggle. And anytime you have a struggle, there's going to be some kind of DNA left behind.
Now, you said you have to leave us a little early?
I do. I'm actually going to speak to a organization that mentors youth who've been in the California Youth Authority to prevent recidivism. So
these are people who have gone
through kids who have gone through the system and have now graduated, been through a program where they've been mentored and have not gotten back into trouble, and they've got an event tonight where they graduate. So.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Larry.
And we'll continue our remaining moments with Steve Mendelson, Ted Rowland, Stacey Hunowitz, and Dr. Robbie Ludwig right after this.
Here's what Pam would say. When she would show the house, she'd say, this is where I'm going to sit with the kids and the grandkids and talk to them about life. That's what she would say about the space here. That's her space right here.
The secret is being persuasive all the time.
Harvard-educated lawyer and author Lori Kuhn believes using the right words is the key to success, a belief that led to the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Award for increasing tolerance and understanding by improving communications.
People can become empowered to be aware of their words and then make the changes so that they're constantly winning people over, reducing conflict, and getting what they want each and every day. Most important lesson is that everybody is important. And if we can learn to communicate in a way that is always respectful and appreciative, we come to surround ourselves with people who want to be in our lives. Our sphere of influence increases.
Hey, I'll get this. Besides, I get airline miles. With your business card? Huh.
What is your credit card doing for your small business?
You earn miles on everything you buy? Yeah, from supplies to travel expenses.
The Citi Platinum Select Advantage Business Card. Call now and you could get 1 mile for every $1 you spend. Plus now, with 15,000 bonus miles, you could be more than halfway to an award ticket.
I use my miles for car rentals, hotels, on over 25 top airlines, and even a well-earned vacation.
Plus, get benefits like account summaries, business discounts, online fraud protection, and more. Call to request the Citi Advantage Business Card. And now, get 15,000 bonus miles. And soon, your miles could take you almost anywhere.
Oh, Paris is great. And flying free? Makes it even better. Smart business decision.
The Citi Advantage Business Card. Call now to request your card and get 15,000 bonus miles.
Are you at risk for osteoporosis? Keep listening for a special free offer from Actonel. My mother always said, don't slump, or you'll get your grandmother's hump. That hump wasn't a slump. It was tiny fractures caused by osteoporosis. Prescription Actonel once a week helps prevent postmenopausal osteoporosis to help you fight fracture. Want to know if you're at risk? Visit actonelquiz.com and take the free risk assessment quiz. And you'll receive a personalized report in the mail to share with your doctor.
You should not take Actonel if you have low blood calcium, severe kidney disease, or cannot sit or stand for 30 minutes. Follow dosing instructions carefully. Stop taking Actonel and tell your doctor if you experience difficult or painful swallowing, chest pain, or severe or continuing heartburn, as these may be signs of serious upper digestive problems.
Actonel can't unslump a hump, but it can help fight fractures. Visit actonelquiz.com or call 1-800-281-1313. Talk to your doctor to find out if Actonel is right for you and help fight fracture with Actonel.
American Morning. What happened over overnight and what's happening in the day ahead. Real news makes the difference. Soledad O'Brien and Miles O'Brien. American Morning. CNN tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Eastern.
Let's grab another call. Austin, Texas. Hello.
Hi, I'm curious to know if your panel believes that since this tragedy occurred, if Mr. Horowitz acted like what they call a typical grieving husband, because, you know, such a big deal is always made about the fact, oh, they didn't act like they were grieving, they weren't sobbing and crying and shaking. I haven't seen him do that, and I'm just curious as to the panel's opinion.
Steve?
Well, he's done that a little bit on camera, but Dan has done a lot of that off the camera, a tremendous amount. But as his training as a lawyer, one of the things he'd fall back upon is something familiar, and that's analyzing the evidence and analyzing what's happened. But he's grieving tremendously.
You understand that, Robbie?
Yeah, there's no one way to grieve. Everybody grieves in their own unique way, but
Sure.
from what I've seen of Dan is he's come off as remarkably authentic and upset, and many people who've seen him believe him, that they weren't quick to jump to the assumption the spouse did it. He came off as genuinely caring and loving of his wife.
And indeed, the Shapiro family will be here tomorrow night. They just lost their son 11 days ago. Akron, Ohio. Hello.
Hello, Larry King.
Hi.
Hi. I'm a retired juvenile probation officer, and your panel is, of course, right on target with what they do with juveniles. I was wondering, there's so much investigating with juveniles previous to a hearing. Do they use everything, or could some of this stuff be prejudicial? You know, such as dressing in black, and was he wrapped up with other agencies, such as mental health? Or
Next time we do something, you call back. 30 seconds. Stacy?
Yeah, that's a great question. Absolutely. The prosecution takes all of that into account. Not all of that evidence would be admissible, but certainly in charging certain crimes, in investigating the background and knowing how to proceed, all of that background history becomes extremely relevant in a prosecution of a juvenile.
Thank you, Stacey Honowitz. Ted Rowland's doing a fantastic job right on top of this, broke this story. Steve Mendelson, we appreciate you coming on as a longtime friend. Mark Garagos had to leave us, and of course, always Dr. Robbie Ludwig. Now, tomorrow night, we're going to have an extraordinary show, and I'm going to do something I don't often do. I urge you to watch tomorrow night and to tell, if you know any other parents, to please watch tomorrow night. We're going to try to help a lot of people. Attorney Robert Shapiro, his wife Linnell, his son Grant will come on to talk about the late Brent Shapiro. That's tomorrow night.
On this edition of Breaking Big, weaving old material into new success.
Chilowich is a design company. Our focal point are textiles and primarily vinyl for a number of reasons. It's durable, stain-resistant, washable, and gorgeous. By simply redesigning it, adding color to it, we've created a whole different world.
That world consists of vinyl placemats, floor mats, bags, decorative cubes, and an innovative flooring product Sandy Chilowich developed with her husband called Plynal. Last year, the 8-year-old company's sales volume increased by 38%.
What happened over the last year and a half is there's been an overwhelming acceptance of the product.
The criteria for me as a designer and how the business will go in the future, it's not just about something being beautiful, it's really about it being beautiful as well as functional.